Shabbat Shalom. Hello, Shma Koleinu. I really hope that you are hearing us and seeing us via YouTube Live. I am here at First Unitarian Universalist Church. Hannah Madeline Goodman is in New York City at her apartment, and you are all safely distanced in your homes. But we are now coming together tonight to celebrate Shabbat. We are obviously doing this in a different way than we've done in the past, 6 months. We are now doing this on YouTube Live, because this is the way we're going to be presenting our High Holy Day services. We want to give everybody the opportunity to practice a little bit. So do me a favor, have a little bit of patience with us. This is the first time we're doing this exactly the way we're doing it. Well, you'll see in a little bit. But I am so glad to welcome back Hannah Madeline Goodman to our community. She is there she is. So glad to have you back, Hannah. Welcome, Shabbat Shalom. And we are going to open our service with Or Zarua.
Or Zarua Latari Yisrael Simcha Or Zarua Latzadik Yisrael Simcha Simcha tzadikim Adonai ve'yodu zecher kodsho Simcha tzadikim Adonai ve'yodu zecher kodsho Or Zarua Latzadik Yisrael Simcha Or Zarua Latzadik Yisrael Simcha Yisrael Simcha Simcha tzadikim Adonai ve'yodu zecher kodsho Simcha tzadikim Adonai ve'yodu zecher kodsho Or Zarua Latzadik Yisrael Simcha Or Zarua Latzadik Yisrael Simcha
Tonight, I want you to go outside once it's dark, and I want you to see if you can find the moon. Because tonight is the 15th of the month of Elul. It is the middle of the month leading up to Tishrei, the month of the new year, when Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur will fall. And I want you to look at that new moon, and I want you to remind yourselves that there are opportunities that will abound in the new year, even as we find ourselves living through these incredibly challenging times. A prayer for Rosh Hashanah by Danny Mossing. I wish not to beg you for anything anymore, God. I wish to thank you. I wish to be a grateful, grateful lover, not a chastised child. This pleading with you makes me infantile. It is unbecoming. I wish not to place you on a pedestal as I would an idol. I wish to speak to you face to face, to dwell in your house, to taste the earth that is filled with your glory in this very human mouth of mine. I wish to go into the days of awe and wonder, awe-stricken, not trembling or fearing for my life or for the lives of those I love. I wish to be in perpetual awe of the beauty of your world, the very world I live in, with its horror and heartbreaks, with its disappointments and misgivings, with its splendor and grandeur, with its naked truth and consequences, this very world I see before me right now, at this very moment. I wish to leave the future world and its constructions to futurists, alchemists, and theorists. I'll settle for the one I'm in right now, the one that you are in right now, the world that keeps coming over and over again, with no thought of future or past. I like this awful, awesome world. I am very grateful for it. I wish to thank you for every moment lived until the very breath I take at this very moment of breathless gratitude. I shall be forever grateful at this very moment for all of your deeds and thoughts, most of which are beyond my comprehension, which was never that great to begin with, and is fading, thank God, day by day. This is the day God made. Let us rejoice in it. This is the moment of creation, the moment all becomes possible, when all that can ever be is present is a present, and I wish only to be present at such an awesome moment. We now continue with a beautiful video of L'Ador Vador by Josh Nelson, produced by Hannah and recorded by Hannah and musicians.
We are history in
We continue with the lighting of the Shabbat candles. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, Shel Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. We continue with Lachadodi with Hannah in New York. I can't hear her.
Grad Kala, la 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 la, Pnei Shabbat, Pnei Shabbat nekabela, Shamor v'zachor, b'dibur echad, Hishme'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, U'shemo echad, L'shemo tiferet ve'lethilah, la la la, la 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 la, l'chadodi, la 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 la, l'krat kala, la 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 la, Pnei Shabbat, Pnei Shabbat nekabela, l'krat Shabbat, lechu v'nelcha, ki im mekor habaracha, merosh mekedem nesucha, sof ma'asher machshava techila, la la la, la 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 la, l'chadodi, la 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 la, l'krat kala, la 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 la, Pnei Shabbat, Pnei Shabbat nekabela, hitorari, kiva orech, kumi ori, uri, shir dabeiri, kevod Adonai, alayich nigla, la la la, la 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 la, l'chadodi, la 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 la, l'krat kala, la 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 la, Pnei Shabbat, Pnei Shabbat nekabela, boi v'shalom, ateret bala, gam v'simcha, u'tzola, toch emunei, am segula, boi chala, la la la, la 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 la, l'chadodi, la 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 la, l'krat kala,
Baruch Hu, prayer, the call to worship, calling upon us to awaken into this moment, to embrace Shabbat, and to recognize that Elul is here, and it is beckoning us to be prepared for Rosh Hashanah. We continue with Baruch Hu.
Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? La 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 la, ya 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 la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Le'olam Va'ed. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la.
Let the rain come and wash away the ancient grudges, the bitter hatreds held and nourished over generations. Let the rain wash away the memory of the hurt and the neglect. Then let the sun come and fill the sky with rainbows. Let the warmth of the sun heal us wherever we are broken. Let it burn away the fog so that we can see each other clearly, so that we can see beyond labels, beyond accents, gender, or skin color. Let the warmth and the brightness of the sun melt out selfishness so that we can share the joys and sorrows of our neighbors. And let the light of the sun be so strong that we will see all people as neighbors. Let the earth, nourished by rain, bring forth flowers to surround us with beauty. And let the mountains teach our hearts to reach upward to heaven. Amen. We continue with Shma and Ve'afta from Debbie Friedman.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kavod Malechuto Le'olam Va'ed. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all of thy might. And all these words which I command you on this in thy heart, shall be in thy heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and thou shalt speak of them when thou sittest in thy house, when thou walkest by the way, and when thou risest up, and when thou liest down, and when thou liest down, and thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be for frontlets between thine eyes, and thou shalt write them on the doorposts of thy house, and upon thy gates, and upon thy gates, that he may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God.
So at this time in our service, we think of, we actually invite folks to share their simchas. Now, this is a little bit different because I'm not on stream, I'm not on YouTube Live with y'all. So I really want to encourage you to please share with each other on YouTube Live so that you can then share your simchas with each other and celebrate each other, reach out to each other, show each other your love and affection, because this is a time when we need each other more than ever. So if you have a moment where you think, oh, I should call somebody, I should reach out to them, but then I'll do it later. Do it now, because now is when we need you. And as you are celebrating with each other, God willing, there are lots of reasons to celebrate, even in the midst of all we are facing. We continue in singing Mi Chamocha.
Ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Norati Lord, osef eleh. Norati Lord, osef eleh. Adonai, Adonai, imloch le'olam
Okay. You know, Mi Chamocha is a song about miracles. It's the one that celebrates the parting of the sea and the Israelites being freed from Egypt. This story that we tell and retell all the time. And I don't want to make too much of this, but I do believe that there is a miracle happening as far as I'm concerned, in the ability to know that Hannah and I have been working at this for literally months, Grant, our technical director, and I have been working on this for about a month. And to see it come to fruition, I am sure that we're going to get some notes from y'all and that maybe we can do things better and more fluidly. We're going to try, but this is really, a practice run. But see that it's working is really exciting and so much fun. So I invite you to stand where you are, if you are comfortable in doing so, as we continue with the Amidah.
שפתי תפתח, ופי יגיד, תהילתך. שפתי תפתח, ופי יגיד, תהילתך. שפתי תפתח, ופי יגיד, תהילתך.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, עם בעזרת שרה, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה, רב להושיע, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יעללוך סלה. Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. If you are standing, I invite you to be seated. At this time, we call upon our hearts and minds to think about those in need of healing, all kinds of healing, physical healing, spiritual, emotional, healing for those who just need a little bit of being propped up, healing for those who just need a phone call, healing that's just something that can be done with a kind word. And sometimes healing that can be offered by the word that is not said. There's so much pain and suffering in our world right now. And I invite you to share those names of people you're thinking of in our chat. And I ask everybody on right now, you don't have to add a name, but please do read the names to make sure that they echo upon your heart, upon your soul, receiving the healing energy of the prayers we offer now. Mishaberach. We turn to Hannah.
I believe this one is on video, actually.
That is right. It is on video. Oh, so see, this is what I was talking about, the need to have patience and forgiveness. We continue with Mishaberach, the video. Service, it is my wonderful opportunity to invite Andy Kupferberg, one of our members of our leadership team, to join us to offer us announcements about what's coming up in the next week and weeks. Andy?
Hi, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Isn't this cool? I think it's cool.
It is.
All right, so some announcements coming up. We have a CSK Women's a brunch book discussion. It's going to be Sunday, September 6th at 10:30 a.m. The registration link was in yesterday's email from Holly. Don't forget, 10 at noon every day, Monday through Fridays at 12 o'clock. Registration is also in the email links. You don't need to register, but if you register before, then you'll know how it all works. Monday, it's just going to be our beloved Rabbi Scott on his own. On Tuesday, guest musicians is Ellie Flyer. Wednesday, Josh Goldberg. Thursday, Dan Nichols. And Friday, Jonathan Goldberg. Adult Hebrew words are the way in on Tuesday, September 8th from 12:30 to 1:30. All this seems to be in yesterday's email, all these links. So Shabbat, next Friday, 6:15 Oneg, 6:30 p.m. service, Remembrance of 9/11, led by Rabbi Scott with music from Josh Goldberg. Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, it's coming up, September 18th. It's going to be here before we know it. Yom Kippur is going to be Sunday and Monday, September 27th and 28th. We encourage you to register early on the website. When you register, you're going to get this fabulous link telling you all of the how-tos of Shma Koleinu's High Holy Days. So that's it. Have a great Shabbat Shalom. Great week, everybody. Thank you, Rabbi Scott and Hannah, Holly, and everybody behind the scenes who's really making this possible for us.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you so much for you and for everyone who helps make CSK happen. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I want to share with you a story that some of you have definitely heard before, but I think with maybe a different take. The story is about a queen. A queen who was just incredibly beloved by so much of her realm. She was kind and she was thoughtful. She was patient and she was caring. She was certainly powerful and people recognized her power, but at the same time, she was very much present for whoever was before her. And she was just beloved. And she had a wonderful, supportive royal court, and lots of children, eventually grandchildren. As she grew older, she noticed that there was a lot of talking back and forth between people in the royal court and the family, asking, imagining, hoping for what might be the future heir apparent. And the queen was uncomfortable with all of this because she was noticing that, well, this could lead to jealousy. It could lead to discontent. It could lead to fighting. And so she declared that she was going to decide who would be the person to take from her the role of ruling this realm, this sovereign realm. And so she wrote it up in a document. It was placed in a safe, inside of a safe, inside of a safe. And the only people who knew were the prime minister. It was passed from one neck. She grew very, very elderly. Finally, she passed away. And the kingdom mourned. But when the queen and the prime minister at the time brought out the document, and he read it, and everyone was shocked. They didn't understand. The person who had been appointed to be the next queen was the jester. The jester, without any delay, the royal retainers came out and they came to the jester and they removed the cape and they removed the jester's hat, and upon her shoulders they placed the royal robe and the crown. And then they led her to the throne where she assumed the role of queen. And this was very awkward. It was very strange. I mean, the jester of all people, the jester was the one that the queen would choose. They didn't understand. But they went with it because they loved the queen so much. And they found in just a little bit of time that this jester queen, she surprised them. She was tremendously patient. She was kind. She was able to listen and to learn, and she was able to rule. She had very clear understandings of what was right and what was wrong, and in not too much time, she earned her position. There was one funny thing about every day, or maybe a few times a week at least, she would disappear. She would go back into a back room in the back of the castle. And then she'd approach that room, and it was a room to which she only had the key. And she entered into the room, and she was there for a little bit, 15 minutes, maybe an hour. Then she would return, and she would return to the throne. And her royal court and her family, they all kind of wondered. But they thought, what a beautiful, wonderful queen we have. It must be working, whatever it is. She must be praying. She must be meditating. In the midst of this realm, this nation, there were, of course, other nations. And ambassadors would come, representatives would come. But there was one particular ambassador who came who just was enamored by the queen, by how she ruled, by how patient and kind and how wise she was. And so he listened to every word she said, and he studied her, and he had excuses for why he needed to come back to this nation to learn from this queen, to be there for this queen. And he also had heard about how she had this room that she went to a few times a week, maybe sometimes once a day. And he had to know. He had to know. Perhaps this was the secret for why she was such a good queen. So he followed her. He wasn't proud of it, but he followed her. And he looked through the keyhole. And there was just a plain room, but with mirrors all over the room, on the walls. And there was a coat rack. And on the coat rack was something odd. Well, the queen looked over and took off her royal robe and placed it on the other hook of the coat rack, and took the crown off and hung it on the coat rack, and then grabbed cape, jester robe, and a jester hat. And then the ambassador watched. She ran around the room as she danced like a jester, as she pretended to juggle, as she just acted silly and funny. She even made raspberries at herself. She did all sorts of jester-like things. And then, right before she removed her cape and her hat, right before this, she looked and she herself and she said, "Who you are, Queen. Never forget, Queen, that you're actually a jester. That you put on the robes and the queen's crown. But these are just tools that you are borrowing. For you indeed are actually a jester." And in that moment, the ambassador was just awed. He was awestruck, seeing what he came to understand was that the root of this queen's wisdom, the root of this queen's ability to rule so well, was her humility, was her reminder that she is so much more and so much less than the roles she plays. Well, years later, the queen and the ambassador had become good friends, and they were sharing stories. The ambassador said to her, "I have a secret to tell you, a confession to make. On one day, I followed you, and I watched through the keyhole at what you do when you go into that room. And I was just awed and amazed. But I have this one question that I want to ask. And that question is, have chosen her in the first place? How could she have known?" And the jester queen got a sly smile on her face. And she looked at the ambassador and she asked him, "What do you think the queen was before she was the queen?" Humility is really one of the roots of what we are aiming for and what we are yearning for. Well, maybe not yearning, but what we need. and what the High Holy Days demand of us. And we sing those words, Avinu Malkeinu, our Father, our King, Chanenu va'anenu, show us grace and answer us. Then we say, Ki ein banu ma'asim, because we do not have ma'asim. Think of it like ma'asim tovim. We do not have enough deeds, enough good deeds to be worthy of your love. It's not why you love us. But God, please show us grace. We are not yet enough. We need your divine kindness and grace. Avinu Malkeinu, Enu va'anenu, ki banu ma'asim. Aseh imanu tzedakah v'chesed. Do for us tzedakah. Do for us loving kindness. V'hoshienu, and save us. These words which we will sing through the High Holy Days, they are words that speak to our brokenness, and they speak to the divine grace and kindness that we ask for, but ultimately they are a reminder that we are at least not yet the better version of ourselves or the best version of ourselves. But we're getting there, and we keep working at it. But that reminder of importance of humility at the core of it all, that is what we're striving for and aiming for on every High Holy Days. But I would say all the more so this year. We continue with the beautiful video of Avinu Malkeinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, Shma Koleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu lefanecha. Avinu
We continue with, if you are not rised, please rise. We're not opening the ark right now. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoyei aratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. At this time in our service, we call to mind those who are no longer with us, those who are lost to us in this world and whose memory is a blessing for us. I invite you to write the names of people into our chat whom you are thinking of as we pray that their memories will be blessings for us all. We continue with Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shmei rabbah. Ve'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechona v'yamechona v'chay dechol beit Yisrael. V'agalav izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam ulmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushpechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlom rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru amen. Yehi shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who makes peace in the high places make peace upon us, upon all Israel and all the world. And let us say, amen. And we continue with a new year.
May this be a year of love and kindness. May strangers come to be friends. May truth and compassion always guide us. Amen. May this be a year of hope and healing for all of those in need.
So first of all, as we prepare to say Kiddush and Motzi, I want to say a huge thank you. I forgot which camera to look at. Big thank you to Hannah. I know that if you could hear everybody watching, you'd hear them cheering and saying thank you and sending you blowing kisses and all that stuff. But we are so glad that this is working. And Hannah, do you want to say anything to everybody?
It is just an absolute pleasure to be with you tonight, and I am so grateful I get to be with you as your cantorial soloist for the High Holy Days. Even in this very unusual season that we find ourselves in, it means the world to me, and I can't wait to share it with you all. Thanks, Rabbi Scott.
Same way. Absolutely. And we feel the same way about you. So if you have wine in your home or juice and you're waiting to hold it up, you hold it up and you sing with me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitchenu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon inchilanu Zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu b'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, ve'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon Inchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. L'chaim. And maybe you're lucky as me to have a challah in front of you. Of course, I forgot to take the plastic off. And while I'm doing this, Hannah, when we are done with Motzi, would you be willing to just play one more piece after we're done with Motzi? Whatever you'd like. Something Jewish.
Let me grab the minor.
How about a New Year? Is that good? Or something else? She has to grab some music, I bet. Whatever you'd like. Just need a little bit of an outro. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom. Enjoy. Have a peaceful, restful Sabbath.
My piano's joining us in one moment. There we go.
Possible. Thank you. I'm just saying thank you. We're learning we're figuring out all the different. Anyway, maybe we can't have the sound on at both things at the same time. In any case, I send you all love, appreciation, and joy. Shabbat shalom.